And on the left side, go to SEO and then scroll down to Site Audit. Here, let's set up a campaign. You can see that it's automatically suggesting a campaign for our project onceuponacoconut.com, so I'll go ahead and click that to set it up. Here you'll get a general settings pop-up. For the most part, as a beginner, I recommend using the default settings. However, I'll go through a few of these so you'll understand what's going on. If you go up and expand the section under Scope, you can see that by default, the site audit will run on the root domain, onceuponacoconut.com, as well as any subdomains of onceuponacoconut.com. For example, they might have shop.onceuponacoconut.com. Choosing to crawl all subdomains for your site audit depends on whether or not you want to SEO optimize those subdomains. If that doesn't matter to you, you can speed up your site audit by checking this box off, but I'm going to leave it on for our demo. Below this, you can limit the audit to a certain number of pages. This will speed up your site audit if there are a ton of pages you don't necessarily need to audit, but I do recommend optimizing as much as you can. If you're not sure how many pages your website has, you can open a new tab, go to google.com, and then search for site, and then use your root domain. So I'll use onceuponacoconut.com. And here, you'll see the results show only pages from onceuponacoconut.com. If I go to Tools and click to open it, you'll see that there are 85 results, meaning Google found 85 pages. This is great to know. So let's close this tab and go back to our audit. 85 pages is well within the 100-page limit here, so this is just fine. But if your website has more pages, you can adjust this number here. Pages to crawl is a more advanced setting, so for most beginners, I recommend sticking with the default website setting because this will crawl your website most similarly to how the Googlebot does. Lastly, you can set your schedule for a recurring site audit. You can set it to run the audit weekly, daily, or once. Let's set ours to run every Sunday. That way, when we come into the office on Monday, we have a fresh site audit to look at and a nice checklist that we can address throughout the week. I'll leave the box checked on to send an email once the audit is complete. On the left side, you can click through 4 pages of additional advanced settings, but we'll skip those today. However, it's good to know those are there, so as you become more advanced, you can really dial in your site audits. When you're ready, go ahead and click the Start Audit button. This will take some time, especially if you have a large website with lots of pages. That's why I left that box checked on, so that when the audit finishes, I'll get a notification via email. If you have other SEO tasks you need to do, you don't have to stay on this page. Semrush will process in the background and let you know when it's done. I'll go ahead and fast forward here so we can jump straight to checking out the results. All right, here we are, fast forwarded into the future, and our site audit is complete. Let's click on Once Upon a Coconut to see the details. Here we land on the site audit dashboard. On the left side, we can see our site health as a percentage, and we can also see it compared to the top 10% of websites. Our site is 83, and the top 10% have a 92% health, which means we have 9 percentage points of improvement to go. In the upper middle, we can see at a glance that we have 3 errors, 414 warnings, and 128 notices. These numbers can seem large and scary, but I promise it's not as bad as it looks. Generally, you want to address these issues with the most severe ones first. So let's start with the errors. Click on the number below errors to see the detail view. Here we have a list of all of our errors. Each list item has a description of what the issue is, and then you can see why and how to fix it. So if you click why and how to fix it, you see there's a short description of what the issue is, and then a brief description on how to rectify it. On the left side, you can click on the blue hyperlink to get more details about the issue itself. So we'll click on 2 pages, and we can see that these 2 pages have duplicate meta descriptions. This is a relatively easy fix. In most website builders, you can simply update the meta description in an SEO section or update it in your HTML. Let's go back to all issues. Work through this checklist one at a time, and when you're done with all your errors, move on to warnings. Remember on that dashboard, it said there were 414 warnings. Here it says there's 10. What's that all about? Let's click it and find out. Here you can see that 292 of those warnings are for one list item. There's 292 images that don't have alt attributes. That sounds like a large number and it sounds pretty scary, but that's actually pretty easy to fix. Let's click on the 292 images hyperlink, and you can see here that there's a list of image URLs that don't have alt tags. So if you click the little box and arrow next to the image URL, you can see the exact image that needs an alt tag. That's a pretty easy fix, but it will take some time if you have 292 of them. Let's go ahead and close this tab out. As you address the issues in this checklist, you'll want to see your progress over time. To do this, click the Progress tab. Here you can see a chart. If you hover over this purple dot, you can see that the total number of issues the site audit found today was 545. Each time the site audit runs, it'll be plotted on this chart here. So if you're making incremental changes and fixing the issues in the checklist, you'll see this number decrease over time. I think this visual is a great motivator because it allows me to see exactly how many issues I've already conquered and how many remain to fix.